part of that global solidarity. And so what does it look like in New York City? This is what it looks like. Woo! So I just want to be very mindful of that, because there are women that are still missing. So this isn't necessarily a celebratory time. This isn't necessarily a time to be in joy, but it is a time to be in prayer. And so I take that responsibility to be asked to sort of kick off not just this visual and walk, but also to sort of kind of set the tone for the entire month, for the entire summer, because it gets really difficult sometimes. A lot of the things that we're going to hear, many of us have never heard of those kinds of experiences, don't know about those kinds of experiences, and it is very traumatic to hear it for the first time. So one of the things that I've been taught out of our ceremonies and our medicine teachers is that water is actually life, and so water does a lot of cleansing. So when you are having a difficult time in hearing these stories, drink water. Drink a little bit of that clean water. So what I'm here to do today is, does everybody have water? Yeah. Raise your hand if you brought water that you can actually have something to drink. Okay. If anybody is able to share some of that water, even if you pour a little bit in someone's hand, it's super important, because I'm going to actually hold up this water that I've brought here. It's fresh water in my comfort cup here, or bottle, and I'm going to have a little bit of that water with the intention on cleansing myself, but also remembering that water makes up the majority of women. So as we're doing that here, our prayers are able to be, in a collective way. So that's what I want to be able to share with you all, is a little bit of that teaching about the water. Women are the water carriers. We carry water in our bodies, in our wombs. We cleanse our babies when they drink from us. They're drinking not just water, but all of the medicines that Creator is helping us create with our own bodies. We cleanse ourselves. Purify our blood every single month. And there's so many things that have been happening in this world that has actually created an imbalance in that system for women. And what we want to be able to do is help to create that balance again, restore that balance. So when we're drinking this water, understand that, it is a true blessing and an honor to be able to drink clean water here in New York, because there are people that do not have that ability to clean themselves in that manner. And we also fight for clean water. We see what's happening on the front line as you see
ago. I myself am a survivor. I have a relative who was kidnapped and murdered in 1999, Ingrid Washiwatan, Flying Eagle Woman. So this work that we do is not just a fad or a buzzword. This is real experiences. This is our reality that we live in. So we started the Urban Indigenous Collective focusing on the missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, trans, and Two-Spirit. We really wanted to understand the data genocide that was creating the erasure, perpetuating this myth that we don't experience violence in urban spaces, when we know that it's false and that we do. And so we began by really centering Freedom of Information Act requests, demanding data in every county and every agency throughout the tri-state area. Many rejections, many no's, but we continue to fight to be able to understand that scope of violence that is real, that we experience. Our work is centered by a task force. Our task force are survivors, leaders, family members, clan mothers, who really guide the direction of this work. Whether it's through policy or through data or advocacy, the heart is survivors, being Indigenous-led, right? To ensure that we are walking in a good way, right? Ensuring that we are walking behind the survivors and ensuring that their voices are centered at every step. So this is the third year that we've held a vigil, and it's the second year of what we're calling the MMIW G2S NYC East Coast Summit. And we are going to continue to gather and do this annually. We will always hold these vigils, and we will have a number of different activations. You've been on our social media, you've seen a lot of posts. Shout out to Delphina, our communications manager, who's been making sure we fight that invisibility that we've been experiencing, that erasure that has been perpetuated against us. And again, I'm just so thankful to be here in community, because community really is the medicine. And I know we can all feel it right now, right? I'm going to pass the mic to Ariel, my co-founder, for her to say a few words before we then pass it to Shanae Bullock, our board member. Shanae was our Community Advisory Board member for many years and recently joined us as an official board member. So we're just really honored to have our sister supporting us in this way. So I'll pass it to Ariel.
Thank you.
There we go. Hi y'all. Wait, can you hear me? Okay, my name is Ariel Richer. I am Afro-Indigenous white. I come from the Caribbean. We're from Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago. I am also one of the co-founders and co-directors of Urban Indigenous Collective. I wanted to thank you all for coming out on this rainy day. I think it's very symbolic to kind of wash away certain things, and then it also means new beginnings. It ushers in why we are here today, that we're not going to be forgotten. As Sutton, I am also a survivor of sexual violence, so this is something that means a lot to me personally, but then also being part of a community that comes together, rain or shine, that comes together to honor our relatives who are missing and murdered, that comes together to honor the different and various identities. In that, it's very important that we also acknowledge our trans relatives who are missing and murdered, and as well as our Two-Spirit folks. The other part of my job is data. I'm a professor. I focused on gender-based violence for about 13 years now. And what's kept me in it is being part of community, is being part of a group of folks who understand that we are often missing in the data, as Sutton alluded to, as she mentioned, but we are still here, we're still thriving, and I think that's a great way to get started.
Well, I know we have quite a bit of people here, so I'm sure you can probably smell this as it's lit. So I'll just try to do my best to kind of keep it lit, so that it doesn't go out and like walk all around and smudge everybody. I just literally came with the medicines that I had in my bag from this morning.
That experience made me not love myself, but it was community and it was culture that saved me. And so I'm so thankful to this community that I call kin, who prayed with me, who prayed for me, who radically loved me, who radically accepted me. And I'm a voice, and I promise to always use that voice for those who don't get the chance to stand here today. Our Indigenous women, we have to protect them. Our Indigenous relatives, we have to protect them. When Christopher Columbus came to the Caribbean under this guise of manifest destiny, of this extraction, of this exploitation, of this colonizer behavior that was grotesque, it was documented in the 1500s for the first time, the trafficking of Indigenous women. And that trafficking has not ended. So I do this for the future generations. I do this for my sisters. I do this for my relatives. I do this for my ancestors who aren't here today. I want to honor Ingrid Washington, Flying Eagle woman, who was taken in 1999 alongside two other Americans, fighting for Indigenous rights, she deserves to be here today. And that story is so many of our stories, so many of our relatives, so many of our loved ones who are not here. And so the Urban Indigenous Collective is dedicated to fighting for Indigenous relatives, for our visibility, to challenge the status quo, to dismantle oppressive colonizer behavior, this extraction, this exploitation that bleeds into every part of this humanity. We know the answers. We know the ancient teachings. And the greatest achievement that we can attain in this lifetime is cultural perpetuity, which means that one day you and I will not be here, but we have a responsibility to the future generations. We have a responsibility to the 7 generations to protect each other, to protect Mother Earth, and to love one another. So I'm going to say to y'all, and I want you to say it back to me and to your neighbor, Kate Tapanin. That means I love you in Menominee. Kate Tapanin. And we're going to continue to heal. And the Urban Indigenous Collective is working to be able to provide behavioral health resources so we can continue to do this work, to defend our land, to defend our rights, and show up for one another. All right? Kate Tapanin.